Ladies and gentlemen, the 3 knockdown rule is in effect. I'm Steve Kim, joined by the Billy Goat, the two-legged curse that is Mario Lopez.
Oh, shut up. That's not fair. I saw that in Twitter. By the way, keep that in the Flurries. We're going to revisit that. That's one moniker I do not like and not fair. I am not Clayton Kershaw. I am not. I like the guy. I'm not. You threw me all off, damn it. Now I got to start all over with my new energy. Let's get the Buffalo Knuckles over here.
He did catch you off guard there.
He did catch me off guard because that's not fair.
Nichols,
you rat bastard. See if you ever take you to a game.
Nichols is very happy with the Gold Rush, 5-0. We'll get into that a little bit later.
You're starting with the Flurries today.
Last Saturday night from the windy city of Chicago Wintrust Arena, we're in the zone. The heavyweight debut of Alexander Usyk stopping Chaz the Weathered Spoon in 7 rounds, moving to 17-0, scoring his 11th stoppage. Mario, in all fairness, a late replacement. I don't think Chaz Weatherspoon put up too much resistance. He was solid, professional enough to last a few rounds, but could really gauge anything about his heavyweight prospects from this particular fight.
Look, he's a big guy. He's a real heavyweight, and I didn't realize how big his hands were. They were having that glove issue, and they had to get other gloves because his hands were too big for 2 of the sets of gloves that he came. So, like, okay, Usyk's at least in there with a legit heavyweight. He's going to catch one at some point. We're going to see how he reacts. Might not be as flush, might not be too off it. But he's going to catch one, and if you saw him at the end of the fight, he was marked up a little bit. So that was a real legit big guy. Yes, he was a late replacement, but he was still in there 7 rounds. It took a little for Usyk to sort of warm up, and when he finally started to let his hands go, you saw what makes him special. He's sort of Lomachenko-esque, gives you those angles, pretty combinations, nice feints, and he took him out, right? And I think it was a nice
introduction
into the heavyweight scene.
Dipping that toe.
There you go. And now I want to see him. I don't think we necessarily want to see him in a title fight next. I know they're clamoring for that, but I'd like to see him step it up to like
Derek Chisora, Carlos Takam,
or White.
Yeah,
right?
Dillian White, Joseph Parker.
There you go. One of those guys, and then we can really see where we stand, and then we'll see at that point if it's going to be competitive with like a Ruiz, a Joshua, a Wilder.
Keep this in mind.
Because he came in, I'm sorry, but he came in because keep this in mind. He was only 215, which is small by these heavyweight standards, right? Now, Holyfield and those guys, they're around that size too. He, of course, was one of the greatest cruiserweights of all time. And Usyk, maybe on paper, because there's an argument.
At least the second best.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made there. So I don't know if he gets bigger because maybe he loses in that speed. So I think the speed, his speed, and the combo punching are what's going to help him against those big guys.
Couple of things. The variables have changed. When Holyfield was the cruiserweight champion of the world, undisputed, just like Usyk.
You didn't have monsters, though, in there.
And weight limit was 190. So that was a little bit different. Now it was 200. Also, you're right. Chaz Witherspoon, I don't look at him as a huge heavyweight, but he came in at 242. So that's 27 pounds difference.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It's a big dude.
And you could see how the punches did at times affect Usyk when they touched him. Going back to the real deal, after he beat Carlos Sugar De Leon to consolidate the whole titles, I believe it was in 88 or 89, when he began his heavyweight run all the way to Buster Douglas, he didn't have just 1 or 2 fights. He had 6. So you talk about that process.
Exactly.
You're right. You got to dip your toe in, get to the medium end of the pool. Then you start going into the deep end, then to the Atlantic Ocean.
Everything's accelerated now, though, whether it's you're making a transition from junior or lightweight to welterweight. Everything's accelerated now, and everybody wants to create that business.
And he's 32. Remember, Holyfield was in his mid-20s, so the timing mechanism is going to be a little bit different.
Hundreds of amateur fights,
But, Mario, all these people that are being overly critical of Usyk for not stopping Chaz Witherspoon, I don't know what they're looking at.
Well, he's not Mike Tyson. That's not his style either.
He's never been that
That's
guy.
What I'm saying.
I remember when Bernard Hopkins literally got knocked out of the ring by Joe Smith. December of 2016, I believe, at the Forum. I think we were there. The opening bout on HBO was Usyk's American debut against a small little South African, Machunu. Very crafty little guy that was hard to find. And I still remember in the first round or two, the fans were booing. It was like, ugh, what is this? This ain't Lomachenko. And then he finally got him out of there. And I remember the consensus was overrated, not that good.
He's come a long way.
Come a long way. So that's why when everyone wants to jump to conclusions with these hot takes and make a definitive statement, let's let this play out a little bit.
Right.
Let's let him kind of go to the mid-range of the top 10 or the top 15 of the heavyweight. Look, I think Carlos Takam on May 25th would have been absolutely the perfect barometer. But in talking to Egis Klimas, the manager, he says, forget the tune-up. And he didn't use that F word.
Right.
Look, they're going to sprint to a title if possible. The WBO has made them the mandatory based on their cruiserweight accomplishments. That will be the winner of Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz. And they've also said, look, if Deontay Wilder wants to give us a shot, we'll take that. So they are not slow cooking this. They are putting this in the microwave.
Same route that Lomachenko took. So it worked out.
Yeah.
So let's see if it works out for him.
Mario, Dmitry Bivol retains his WBA light heavyweight title, scoring a knockdown in the 6th round, but then he kind of cruises his way to another 12-round decision over Lenin Castillo. So in his last 4 fights, decision over Isaac Chilemba, Jean Pascal, Joe Smith, and now Castillo. Who has Bivol turned into what Michael Montero, my buddy over there in Atlanta, Montero on Boxing, describes as the Vladimir Klitschko of 175?
When he dropped Castillo, who's a tough guy.
Yeah,
he
solid,
can fight, solid
Olympian,
guy.
You know,
I thought, because that was a nice, beautiful right hand he landed. I wanted to see him jump on him a little bit and at least try to take him out. He kind of went back to that killer instinct is missing. For me, from what I've seen so far.
There's the next gear.
The next gear. I still would love to see. I know it's not who he is, but he's got to incorporate some more inside fighting to be able to. He's got the quick hands and the athleticism, but I guess that's not who you are. That's not who you are. Look, I know he says he can make 168, and it's not a problem. Maybe it's different if he goes down there and those hands are a little heavier and they land, he's taking guys out. But at 175, I think he's strong enough to keep guys at bay, maybe drop them once in a while. I don't think he's taking guys out at 175. He's not going to be a knockout artist. He's so skilled that he'll just outpoint his way to victory. But yeah, he's got to be a little more must-see TV and go for the kill when he's got his opponents hurt.
Look at the politics, and we're obviously going to talk about this later. Gvozdyk and Beterbiev are both aligned with top-ranking ESPN. Kovalev is aligned with ESPN.
Mm-hmm.
One thing they all have in common is that generally they're pretty entertaining or have been in entertaining fights.
Right.
Look, I believe that Bivol is the best fencer in boxing. He can lance from the outside, in and out, control distance and spacing, but when he has to go out there and chip away from the mid-range and break a guy down, you could tell he's not good at that.
Right.
And
you don't see too many body shots. Again, you don't see him fight on the inside at all. And so you're in for a long night.
Long night. And look, and it's getting to a point where if you look at or listen to the reaction of the fans at the Wintrust Arena, they were restless and they were kind of bored. And by the time that fight ended, they were catcalling, they were hissing, they were booing. They're like, get him out of here.
I'll be honest with you. There was a UFC fight going on at the same time, and this was just one on ESPN Plus. And so I was switching back, streaming after he dropped him. And I was like, ooh,
okay.
I said, okay. Then I gave it like 3 more rounds. I'm like, really? And so I got frustrated. And there was a good fight
Mario, don't
going on. So I
style points
switched
matter.
back. I felt like I was cheating, but I switched, and then I went back.
You didn't miss much.
I didn't miss anything.
Look, at the end of the day, the fighters that make a difference or trying to build something put an exclamation point at the end of the sentence.
Of course.
They don't put a ...
Not an ellipsis.
Yeah, that's. Thank you. I didn't even know what that was.
That's an ellipsis.
Yeah. And the problem with Bivol is
an ellipsis is an uncompleted thought.
right. Okay, but not those things that you see at the 24-hour fitness.
That's an elliptical. That's how I busted my stitches over again.
So look, with Bivol, I still believe he's very talented, but I do think he has to evolve. Mario, really bad news here. In one of the undercard bouts, Charles Conwell scored a late knockout in the 10th and final round against Patrick Day. And now Patrick Day, he took 2 chopping right hands and a finishing left hook. His head hit the canvas. He was taken out on a gurney. He's in a hospital now. I haven't gotten any further reports. My understanding is from Lou DiBella, the family is asking for their privacy. They don't want anyone to jump to conclusions. The last that I heard, he is still alive.
Oh, man. It's been a rough year for fighters, and it's just that's the reality and the cruel sort of consequences of the sport. So there's nothing really you can do There really isn't at the end of the day.
And can I say this again? Just like the Dadashev fight, I'm watching this fight.
Right.
There was not a single time where I said, stop this fight.
That's exactly it. That's what I'm saying. There's really nothing. You can see when it's egregious and maybe the guys but this one, it's like it's the exact thing. It's like, oh man, it's just an unfortunate tragic.
And Patrick Day, I saw him in late June take on Carlos Adames, the #1 rated junior middleweight at WBO, and for 8-9 rounds he was neck and neck, and then he got overpowered late. Conwell and Day was a very competitive fight for a lot of rounds. The difference is Conwell had heavier hands.
Yeah,
and
do it.
Look, you could second guess all you want, but I can honestly tell you, if I was Day's trainer, I would not have stopped the fight.
Yeah.
So it's easy to second guess, but as of
is.
right now, young Mr. Day, who by all accounts is a very nice young man, universally respected and loved, he's at the Northwestern Memorial Hospital. He went through emergency surgery, and we're all praying for him. And on this note, I asked Vadim Kornilov, our friend, and the manager of Bivol, I said, Dimitri, Vadim, are you happy with Dimitri's performance? He goes, yeah. He goes, at the end of the day, I want to keep my fighters healthy and safe and winning. And he goes, Steve, look what happened to that young man before us about an hour and a half, 2 hours. That's our biggest nightmare.
Yeah.
So as long as my guys are winning, the public can say what they want, but I want my fighters to come out of this clean.
Smart.
And
Smart.
so you could rip fighters like Bivol all you want, but you also have to have that perspective. These are human beings. They literally are putting their lives on the line.
No, absolutely. And I don't think anyone was necessarily ripping Bivol. If they are, they're a little ignorant in knowing the dangers in there. You feel that he could, and I didn't want to come across that I was being disrespectful at all. You feel like he could take it up a notch,
right,
and maybe try to close the show, especially when he has an opponent hurt. That's
yes,
all.
absolutely, because style points matter.
Right.
That is also the reality.
Sure.
That's why boxing is so tough. Mario, Thursday morning, I checked my phone like everyone else when they wake up, and I had all sorts of alerts, all sorts of tweets and messages, and I was stunned. Errol Spence was involved in an auto accident early Thursday morning, and I'm sure you've seen the footage. This
was it a Lamborghini, Ferrari? What was it?
A Ferrari.
What you doing with that? Come on.
He was only going about 155 miles per hour, 3 o'clock in the morning in the Dallas area. The footage of it, the thing flips like 5 times from a Michael Mann movie, and basically the PBC puts out a statement saying he's okay.
Was he alone?
Yes, that's what they're saying. He was alone. Very lucky. Now, I don't know what other legal ramifications he's going to face. I don't want to speculate. They'll get to that. But here's what I do know about Errol Spence, and he kind of advertises it. He likes to have a good time. He really does.
Nothing wrong with that, especially when he's someone who has come across very disciplined.
Yeah.
Always in shape. Obviously works really hard. So I have no problem if you're going to work hard, you want to play hard, but you got to make smarter decisions because there's rumors out there that he was drinking and driving.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's true or not yet. Obviously, that would mean a DUI. And if you looked at the pictures, you're amazed that he didn't die. It looked like a fatality.
Yeah.
That would come. So, and essentially, he was pretty okay other than, actually, he busted his teeth out and hurt his jaw. So that could be,
yeah.
I was actually talking to Oscar about this again the other day. We don't know how it's going to affect him taking a punch, or you break your jaw and you knocked out all your teeth, and he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. So I heard he flew out of the car, flipped all that, flew out of the car, no seatbelt, and landed face first. Boom, knocking out your grill. Oh, that's got to hurt.
Yeah, what we really don't know, and again, we're all praying for Errol Spence, that we don't know about the damage to his vertebrae, neurologically, his vision, and anything of that nature. I have always enjoyed my interactions with Errol Spence. Really nice guy.
Nice kid, yes.
Nobody has a bad thing to say about him. But, I asked somebody who's in that world, I go, God, and we all say this.
What world is this?
Entertainment sports at a high level. I said, how come these guys don't get drivers or take Uber? And one guy said to me, Steve, it's an ego thing. If you're going to buy a $500,000 car, you want to be the one to drive it. You want to be the one to drive up to the club with it.
Listen,
you don't want to have Morgan Freeman. You don't want to be driving Miss Daisy.
It's not an ego thing. It's an immature thing. Because I'll tell you, the real player move is you get a driver. And you get one of those SUVs that are tricked out, and you can drink, you can text, you can have girls in it.
Yeah.
That's the real. Who the hell wants to drink? It's the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? You got to worry about what you're drinking. You know what I mean? Who wants a responsibility? Just the floss. Anybody listening that's got cash out there, get yourself a driver and a fat ride to get driven in. That's the move.
Even if you don't have cash, get an Uber if
yeah,
you're
and
drinking.
by the way,
Well, no, by the way, don't drink. Yes, of course. That's
Yeah.
not. But I'm saying,
And-
he was talking about that club. And so,
Right, no, but and look, another thing is if you're on a budget like me, get Uber or Lyft. It's been a great service. I mean, nowadays when I look
Right.
at my credit card bill, a lot of times I don't spend that much, but my bill's like a lot. It's all Lyft and Uber because I don't want to take the risk.
Can I tell you something? I have friends that they've got kids right now, like the driving age, right? 16?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, now I'm sounding like that old get off my lawn kind of guy. 16's way too young, bro, it seems. When I would look at
drive,
that,
yeah.
to drive a time. But anyway, a lot of the kids now, this generation, they're choosing not to drive, and they're choosing just to
Interesting.
get Uber and Lyft accounts. And the parents are cool with it because they're always so worried about being distracted with their
Right.
phone, whatever. And I'm like, you know what? That is a much better. And it kind of evens out the money you spend on car insurance. You
Gas,
allot,
yeah,
gas,
upkeep.
especially gas, almost $6 right now. You allot that for like an Uber. It ends up, you end
Insurance.
up saving. I like that move.
Yes, absolutely. So we're all praying for the likes of Patrick Day and Errol Spence. We both hope they make it out.
Interesting
okay.
to say. Last note. Interesting. It looks like Errol Spence is gonna make it out. He's banged up.
Well, look,
for sure. But when he makes it back into the ring, that's what's
you
gonna
don't
be,
know the residual effect.
That's exactly it. That's what's gonna be interesting.
I've talked to people that have been in pretty damaging car accidents, and they'll say, "Steve, we lived. Our quality of life was high. Our body was never quite
No.
the same."
No.
In a lot of ways, like sometimes double vision in one
Yeah.
eye.
No, it's rare.
You know, your
But-
left leg.
Unless you're like Ben Roethlisberger,
Yeah.
dude got in a motorcycle
Yeah.
accident. Can't get worse than that. Continue to play another 12 years.
Right.
Mr. Lopez, we move on. Friday, I will be there in the city of brotherly love. My first experience covering a fight in Philadelphia on ESPN.
Philly's a great town.
The WBC and IBF light heavyweight title is on the line, and I've dubbed this the nail versus the hammer. Alexander Gvozdyk versus Artur Beterbiev. Mario, flip a coin because I think it's a 50-50 fight.
That's a great fight. That's a great fight. Yeah, I couldn't really call that one. That's going to be an entertaining scrap.
Alexander Gvozdyk is very familiar with Beterbiev, having fought him as an amateur. He talks about his history with him and also some of his recollections of that particular battle.
Of course, he was a huge, big star in amateur. He's a world champion, and I fought him actually in 2009. I lost him, so it's going to be an extra motivation to get a rematch.
Could you feel his punching power back then, even with the headgear and the bigger gloves?
Yes, this guy knocked the guy out, even being amateur. So now in pro, he probably start hitting even stronger.
When you start camp now, this is interesting. You are still working with Teddy Atlas, but now your camp is in Philadelphia.
Yes.
Why that decision?
Well, you know, like we decided to stay there to get used to all the atmosphere, and also there's not the same fancy place as California is, so this place is gonna remind us where we came from.
Mario, in my view, this is where once again Teddy Atlas in the corner of Gvozdyk has to be Eddie De La Houssaye. He has to be a great jockey because I think Gvozdyk is the better technician. I think he's sharper. I think he's straighter. Beterbiev reminds me of the Flintstones. Remember that cartoon, the Modern Strange Family from the town of Bedrock? Remember
Who doesn't?
Did you really ask me if I remember the Flintstones?
Remember when Fred
What's the matter with you?
would say, "God, I can't wait to get to my TV to watch the fights and drink a Rocky Cola."
Yeah.
And the two fighters would be two cavemen with clubs just hitting each other, and that was their version of boxing. That's Beterbiev. I mean, he clubs you to death, and everything he hits you with hurts. And in my view, Gvozdyk is going to outmaneuver him. He's going to outbox him. But one mistake can lead to this whole fight changing. Gvozdyk has to be a really disciplined fighter, and I believe Teddy Atlas is going to be on him hard.
I think they know what they're getting when they get into. I actually think the first few rounds they're going to be sort of feeling you. There's going to be a lot of feeling out, and whoever starts to impose their will, and is going to busier from 3 rounds on. I think the first 3 rounds I think are going to be could be totally wrong, but that's how I would see it playing out. Then it's going to start getting interesting.
You know, you heard Gvozdyk talk about it, that they did meet as amateurs about a decade ago, and Beterbiev did score a second-round stoppage because he said he had a broken nose going into it in other interviews. Mario, psychologically, given that it's 10 years ago, almost another lifetime, do you think that matters at all in this matchup?
I think so. You don't forget, but I think also when you yourself have grown as a fighter, as an individual, you get more mature too. It sometimes you hunger for that, to want it. You know, real guys want to get that revenge and try to vindicate. So we'll see if that's the case.
Moving on to news and notes, I had a chance to speak to Tom Loeffler, the head of 360 Promotions. Talked a little bit about the immediate future of Gennady Golovkin and his upcoming Hollywood Fight Nights at the Avalon in Hollywood.
It's hard to predict what Canelo's going to do. I believe everyone thought that he was going to fight for September 14th. So as of right now, it's hard to predict what he's going to do. We know that they couldn't work out a deal with Derevyanchenko on their side, so that's when Gennady had stepped in and fought the guy that many people accused him of not wanting to fight last year. So he proved a lot of those doubters wrong. And it was a great fight. I mean, you got to give both guys credit. It was a tremendous fight. All-action fight, one of the candidates for Fight of the Year. And, you know, what Canelo does, we'll have to see what happens with the Kovalev fight. I expect him to win that fight. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see if he stays at 175, see if he comes back down to 168, or comes back down to 160. So, but Gennady's made it clear he's not waiting for Canelo. We chased him twice, made those 2 fights that we felt Gennady won. But at this point, he's not chasing Canelo. If Canelo wants to make the fight, he knows where to find us.
Tom, your fight night, Hollywood Fight Night, comes back at the end of the month here. Step-up fight for Sergey Bohachuk. Is it now confirmed Tyrone Brunson is the opponent?
Yeah, Tyrone Brunson is the opponent. It's a tremendous matchup where Bohachuk is 15-0 with 15 knockouts, but Tyrone Brunson started his career 19-0 with 19 first-round knockouts. He actually holds the record for the number of first-round knockouts.
So, Mario, Golovkin is going to fight that guy, Kamil Cesar-Meta. They're going to get that IBF mandatory out of the way. Eddie Hearn said over the weekend that Chicago, which drew a very good audience for Usyk, could be late February for the debut of Golovkin in the Windy City. Hollywood Fight Nights. Mario, you have been there.
I have been there. It's good time, great seat anywhere in the place. They have a party sort of atmosphere. Sundays, if your team's not playing or they're garbage.
More on that.
It's a real good time. I've gone there with my kid, who, by the way, my other friends like to take because they send him to go talk to girls and bring him back.
He's the magnet.
So it's a good time, and I'm looking forward to going back.
A couple other news and notes here. The WBA has ordered a rematch between Mario Barrios and Batir Akhmedov. I don't know if that'll actually mean that the rematch will happen. They fought September 28th at the Staples Center, with Barrios winning a controversial decision. Also Saturday this past weekend, IBF featherweight champion Josh goes to Warrington. Second-round knockout over Sofian Takuch. Mario, how excited are you or intrigued by the dalliance of Tyson Fury in the WWE?
Okay, so we didn't talk about this last time, but I went to the 20-year anniversary of SmackDown when they moved over to Fox. What a production, man. The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, the Nature Boy, who, by the way, the Hulk's still rocking those pythons. Did you see that picture I posted? Him and Nico doing the double. He still looks fantastic, and The Rock's so cool with the kids. And it was quite the event. When I looked over and I saw Tyson Fury, so I go, oh my God, is he a fan? I go, didn't even process that he would somehow be involved. And then he started getting into it with Braun Strowman.
He's
I go,
natural.
I said, this is brilliant. His personality. There's some big ass dudes right there. And I was like, this is gonna be great. This is gonna be great. No. And it's so smart because the audience is huge. They spend so much money, and if you can cross over and bring some fans, even a sliver of those fans, it's exponentially going to make your brand grow. So they're scheduled to get in there. I think Tyson's going to be great. He's got a great personality for it. Obviously, I hope he doesn't get hurt doing anything, but I think it's so smart, and it's going to be huge. It's going to make him the most popular heavyweight by far. By far. They're huge right there. Cain Velasquez was UFC champion, is now transitioned to Brock Lesnar. All these guys, like real athletes, right? Going over, dude, they become superstars after that. Well, look at The Rock.
And you take a look at the synergy. This is on Fox, right?
Right.
Fox will be doing a Deontay Wilder pay-per-view. When Wilder and Fury hook up in the spring of 2020, if that fight actually comes to fruition, given that everything goes right, Louis Ortiz doesn't upset some plans, it's already beginning with the co-promotion between ESPN and Fox. Those are the possibilities that this stuff can hatch. Mario, Monday morning, I go in to get my workout in, and guess who I see at Wild Card? I said, do my eyes deceive me?
Was Chavez Jr.
It's Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Now, let me just make one point here.
Rocking a buzz in a thin frame, you said.
Well, he's been working out, but this is what stunned me. Because I know he's been working out, but I've never seen a guy that has actually done so much boxing training but never in a gym. He's in his kitchen, his basement, his attic, the football field, the rooftop. Yeah, exactly. He's in your studio. He's in the bathroom setting up a heavy bag. And I walk in and I said to him, "Did you take a wrong turn?"
I know, it's the funniest thing. Now I'm hearing he wants to fight Daniel Jacobs.
Almost a done deal, by the way.
Wow, at 68?
68. It could be some sort of title shot. And he said that on his end, he signed. He said it's really on Danny Jacobs to go through the contract. That fight could land in Texas. They wanted the Staples Center, but it's booked. Also, he says, if Freddie Roach is willing to train me, I'd like to talk.
Freddie always liked him, and he looked his best when he was with Freddie. Man, the kid keeps getting another chance.
But do you think there's too much tread on the tires?
For Chavez?
Yeah, physically, the lifestyle, the layoffs, you know?
Right. Hey, look, we know the kid can take a good punch. And you're right. Those things you got to factor in. He's not exactly that young anymore.
Think about this. The Martinez fight, Sergio Martinez, 7 years ago.
Yeah,
time flies.
There. It does fly, and especially for a fighter. Look, we'll know right away, especially with Danny Jacobs.
Yeah, I was surprised. I thought
he's diving right into the deep end.
I thought they would take another tune-up or two.
Yeah, apparently that's not kosher
Well,
anymore.
with the money he's getting, trust me, he's going to be Greg Louganis. Going on to the Ask Mario segment of the show. Here's one from Kaiser, but not Permanente. Mario, would you rather have the Dodgers in the NLCS, have the Chargers make the playoffs, or have De La Hoya rematch Trinidad? You can only choose one.
Oh, that's easy. De La Hoya rematch Trinidad.
Over your Dodgers?
I was at the first one. I've been wanting to see that fight for years. By the way, I think that fight would still do 1 million buys right now. I really do. I really do. And
over your Dodgers.
Dude, are we going to get into that now?
Let's get into it.
Listen, first of all, I saw, and you retweeted, you rat bastard. I am not a jinx. I am not the Drake of the Dodgers. I went to a lot of games, and they won 106 games. I don't even blame Clayton Kershaw.
What?
I blame Dave Roberts, and I like him. Hell of a nice guy. I like him personally. He's great in the clubhouse. Players like him a lot. All you got to do is manage the bullpen. I'm not a fan of putting people in situations they're not accustomed to, okay? You don't ask Phillip Rivers to rush in on 4th and 2, right? You don't ask him to do certain things, and nothing is more specialized than boxing. Or pardon me, I'm sorry, that was ironic. Than baseball. You have certain pitchers come in for certain right-handers, and then left-handers. You have your relief. You have your if Buehler was getting rocked early, okay, maybe then you bring. But he was pitching a gem and throwing gas. Kershaw comes in. Gets out the one. I was nervous when I saw him coming out. I go, you don't. Why? We have Maeda, we have Urias, we have Baez. Why not? We needed 6 outs, Kim. All we needed was 6 outs, and they let him in. So Rendon hits that 1 home run. Right at that point, they should have pulled him. Boom. We still had a 1 run. Next pitch, Juan Soto, 20 years old. Boom. Takes it out. A pin could drop, and nobody said anything where I was sitting. I said, "Did that just happen?"
Could you feel it that was it?
Of course, that was it.
Really?
And then with Joe Kelly, and then he hits it. I blame nothing but Roberts with the Joe Kelly situation, with Kershaw bringing him in and then leaving him
How
in.
about the front
7 years
office?
in a row. It wasn't just the last 3 years. 7 years in a row. And like Gonzalez told me, look, the front office.
They script it.
Friedman is scripted. It's all analytics. They go for they do the lineup, but the manager, all he has to do is not mess up the bullpen. The bullpen is on him. So I kind of blame Roberts on this.
How about the front office? I've said for a whole season, what was the Achilles heel of this great Dodgers team?
Of course,
that's
been the last 3 years. Yeah, dude. Specifically, and I'm sorry, but Kershaw too. The last 7 years, I thought it was 3 years, but then Gonzalez pointed out too, it's actually 7 years. That every time you've gone to him, and he's one of the best regular season pitchers in history. But now in the postseason, my man's got like an 11 ERA.
Yeah, it's not a great history. Look, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I honestly thought, and look at with Washington, we had that game. I thought honestly that we're going to the World Series again. I really did.
You think the Dodgers do fortify the bullpen though in the offseason? I think they have to. I think there's too much public pressure.
The problem with the Dodgers is they have so much talent. They don't ever go all in with bullpen. right? Dude, you won 106 games. That was our franchise record. There's not too much to tinker with. You just messed up managing the bullpen. No one wins 106 games. So how do you? So you can't justify firing Roberts, but then when it comes to that, when it comes to the postseason, you don't manage the way you do the regular season.
Yeah. Derek Williamson, Mario. After a romantic night out with the better half, maybe dinner followed by a couple of cocktails. What's your slow jam of choice when you get back to Casa Lopez?
Wait, what? That took a turn. Slow jam.
What's your slow jam of choice?
What's my slow jam of choice?
Something from Albisher, maybe.
Albie.
I thought you're a Maxwell guy.
I'm a Maxwell guy. Very good.
Keith Sweat.
I like Maxwell. I
Keith
like some
Sweat.
Sade.
Oh.
Okay, I go old school.
Her love is king. Yeah.
Yeah, her love is. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I know you like Anita Baker.
I love Anita Baker.
I like Anita Baker too. She's underrated.
Yeah.
You know, and I like a little sometimes a little Latin slow jams right there. So I don't discriminate. I mix it up.
And here's one from Andrew. When do you think Tank Davis will step up and fight top-level fighters? Is he going to have the easiest run to become a 3-weight world champion? You know, we always say here belts matter, but this is one of the downfalls of multiple belts. You can kind of pick and choose 4 soft spots and get 4 titles. That's kind of what Adrian Broner did. So that's a little bit diluted. Look, I don't know what Tank Davis is going to do at 135. Leonard Ellerby, the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, keeps telling me that they're going to have a late December fight, and they're going to move up to 135. That could be against Yuriorkis Gamboa.
That kid's dying on the vine. And for the most part, a lot of that stable over there is. They just don't keep him active enough.
Yes, here's one from Jack Riesel Terrier. I need my girlfriend to stop making plans for fight nights, especially for nights like Beterbiev Gvozdyk. Of all your favorite fights, which 3 do you recommend to get her interested in boxing? So which one is one of those Netflix and chill type of fights that you always say, if I want to show someone boxing, this is it?
Any fights, like of all time?
Yeah, of all time.
You got to show them like a 24/7 from back in the day.
Great primer.
So
great
that way
primer.
they get invested. And I would do that. If it's a girl, well, then you got to show them someone like De La Hoya who's like nice looking, right? Because then a girl's gonna like. Not all the fighters look like that, but you know what I mean. You get or a Ryan Garcia fight that the girls might say, "Oh, well, when is he fighting again?" That's why they're able to transcend it and cross over.
Castillo Corrales won. Best fight I've ever been to. And Mario, of all the years I've been doing
bold
this,
statement.
And for another, hopefully I'm doing this for another 30, 40 years.
I hope so too, Ken.
I want to die ringside because I'll die happy. I don't think I'll ever see a fight that good. Honestly.
The Vasquez-Marquez fights.
The third one at StubHub. That's when it became a venue.
Right.
The War Ground.
They were on par. I think. They were
I
great.
would say Chavez-Taylor, no matter what anyone thinks of the stoppage. Ray Leonard Hearns, I think, was a great one.
Chavez, I think you should do the 24/7 with Chavez-Taylor and then watch the fight.
Oh, man, to see Meldrick at the end of that 24/7 brings a tear to these almond-shaped eyes. I can't lie about that. Another fight that I would show, what's another one? Oh.
Dude, there's so many. That's not even a fair question.
I would say that, Gaddy Ward, I think really resonates with a lot of people. So those are the fights right off the top of our head.
Yeah, those are good. Those are good. Off the top of your head.
Here's one from Brad White, a good boxing fan out of Detroit, real historian. He says, what fight that almost got made but never did would you have rather seen? Aaron Pryor versus Boom Boom Mancini somewhere in Ohio, or Roberto Duran versus Tony Ayala Jr.?
Really? Ooh. Those fights we're going to go with?
Yeah. A couple things. Tony Ayala got arrested. That's the whole thing.
I would have gone Duran, Tony
Yeah,
Ayala.
because that thing would have been an absolute war. That would have been all machismo all the time.
Oh, so I could be a Bucci, too. I would have gone against him.
There's a heavyweight that could have really changed the history of heavyweight boxing about 15, 20 years ago. Ryan B. Next 3 weeks are going to be great in boxing. Beterbiev Nail, Prograis Taylor, Canelo Kovalev. What fight is Mario most excited about, and what will be the best matchup?
Okay, what's on the table?
Beterbiev Nail, Prograis Taylor, Canelo Kovalev.
Oh.
Well, you're going to Canelo.
I'm going to Canelo Kovalev, so I'm going to go with that. But
the best matchup, in my view, Prograis Taylor.
Well, I was going to say that's 1A. That's 1, and then that's 1A. That's been in my Mount Rushmore wanting to see Prograis Taylor. Who do you like right now?
Whoa, you put me on the spot.
Of course,
I have been flip flopping like a really bad politician.
Prograis got those heavy hands, but Taylor's
slick.
That white boy is slick and can box.
Don't forget the geography. That's the other thing. It is in the UK. I do think
I'm
that
leaning
favors Taylor.
towards slightly. That's a pick 'em fight at a high level. I'd love that fight.
Yeah, I'm going to make my pick that week of the fight. Mario, final flurries.
Like they're gonna change.
Yeah, they're going to change. I got to go to the Gallup poll here.
Yeah,
Yeah, sleep on a little longer.
Mario, you have a distinction. You are a rare bird. You know what that is?
What's that?
You're the only Charger fan in L.A.
Dude,
What an
what did I
embarrassment.
do to you? Why are you picking on me this whole day? You
No,
know what
I'm
I
giving
re-
you credit.
You know what I am, Kim? That you should try sometime. Loyal.
I'm very loyal.
I am loyal. I stay L.A. I'm Dodgers, Lakers, Chargers, LAFC. I don't watch hockey, but I guess if I did, I'd be the Kings.
yeah. Marcel Dion.
Listen, dude.
You are
By
the
the way-
only Chargers fan I've ever met, and your cousins. That's about it.
Yeah.
My cousins, I got other
I mean,
friends.
you guys are from San Diego, but that's it. I've never
Yeah.
met a Chargers fan outside of that.
It's cold as ice. Hold on a second. But before we get into that, I'm gonna answer that question right there. I thought it was just about the Chargers when they come to the stadium that the fans come from other, whoever the opposing
Yeah.
team is, they fill it up. Dude, it's just L.A. Nichols posted a picture. There was a sea of red. For the Rams,
Yeah,
I think that was
Coliseum.
that was worse than the Charger game. That pic you posted.
Well, yeah, there's more people total because it's like 80,000 people.
Yeah.
They said
No.
55,000 Niner fans.
It looked like more.
But doesn't
It
that
looked like
beg
it was
the
just
question?
a sea of red. Like LA is just garbage
Yeah.
as
No,
far
but
as
Mario-
NFL fans.
No, but
They
Mario,
don't
didn't
care.
I tell you 3-4 years ago? I didn't know if LA really wanted the NFL or needed it.
No, you're right. Well, you're exactly right because you'll never see that at the Dodgers.
Yeah.
You'll never see that at the Lakers.
No.
But it's so weird that with the NFL teams.
Well, first of all, to be fair, the Pittsburgh Steelers travel like a college team. They
no,
do.
you're
All
right.
across
Them,
the
the
they do.
Packers, and the Cowboys are their three
but the
best travel
Chargers-
teams. But
yes.
wait a minute, how do you explain the Niners?
Well, it's
The-
California.
California.
Nevertheless, it's not like
Yeah.
it's next
that-
door.
that looked
That's
like
a bit
a-
of a
yeah.
jaunt.
That
Yeah.
looked like a USC Trojan
That's
game.
what I thought. I go,
Yeah.
that's
with
for
the
real?
blood convention. I'm
My
like, a lot of red there.
my point is, it's not just the Chargers. It was the Rams too, and the Rams actually have a history here. So it's just like the NFL. Be that as it may, dude, I was excited because I thought, okay, we got the third string quarterback with Pittsburgh. We win this game. We're only one back because Kansas City's lost two back to back
Kansas City
at
looks-
home. You know what I mean?
They got
so
no
I was like-
defense
and
in
then,
KC.
Well, we got no defense in LA with the Chargers either, dude. We lost at the trenches. My man Rivers looking like a statue out there, and I am glad we didn't pay Melvin Gordon that money. He's waiting for get that run. When we were that close, we were
He'll
in the ball.
get it started.
You want to
He'll
hear a
be-
fun fact? It's not fun, but this is a frustrating fact. Last 2 years, every game the Chargers have lost have been by 7 points or less.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? So we're not getting
crazy.
blown out, dude. It's just we're in these games, so it's just ugh.
Now-
But you know what though? We're the type of team that you start putting it together, then in December all of a sudden you start getting
Yeah.
hot and
Putting your friendship aside with the Spanos family, do the Chargers need to bolt LA? Been setting that,
that
one
pun
up.
was so bad. I'm not even gonna acknowledge it. No, what did the Rams need a bolt? There was just no. Listen, everything's gonna
There's
change. with
already
that new
rumors of St. Louis.
It's always rumors. No, there's not going anywhere. Financially, it makes too much sense right here. All they got to do is start winning, and everything changes. And they're going to have that beautiful new stadium. Please. Nobody's going anywhere.
You know what the
I
Chargers
think it's
remind
time
me
for a
of?
change at QB.
Right. They look.
No, that is different.
They should
That
be in
we
the
need.
market for Cam Newton. I'm just telling you because
But
Cam Newton.
I thought we should have made a hard push to Russell Wilson when he was available right there. Can you imagine Russell Wilson, dude, in L.A. with his
Yeah.
wife and the whole...
I don't know how available he really was.
Yeah, it looks like.
Well,
to
he
me-
was technically available.
Yeah.
That would have made a hard push because wooing him down because his wife, you know what I mean? She's in the entertainment business and he's a big
Mario,
market. He's a star.
What was your first year
That would've
living in
been dope.
L.A.? What was your first year living in L.A.?
I've been in LA since I was like 10 years old.
Okay, because I remember as a kid or even growing up through high school, when the L.A. Clippers played at the L.A. Sports Arena, that decrepit arena used by USC.
Yeah.
What they used to do is they used to offer like half-season ticket packages or 8-game packages, and it'd be in the newspaper. You get brochures, and they'd say, "Come see the Clippers play," and they list all the marquee teams.
Yeah.
And the advertisements would have pictures of Dominique Wilkins, Larry Bird, Magic Johnson.
Cold as ice.
That's kind of what the Chargers are. That if you want to watch NFL football, and let's say you're a transplant, let's say you're from Philadelphia, Pittsburgh,
Well,
Atlanta.
LA, everyone's a transient.
No, but the Chargers seem to be like the Clippers. Like you want to watch NFL football, but not actually the home team. That's what it kind of feels. I don't know if they're ever
listen,
going to make a footprint in this market.
That's not fair. And they've only just got here. And the Rams, too, it wasn't just the Niners. I've seen a lot because there's guys that have season tickets to the Rams. They got a lot of the opposing team as well. I'll tell you what's a big I wish they wouldn't leave. What's a big lure there is that little high school stadium they play in. Dude, that thing is dope.
Yeah.
It's so dope. So I'm always down on the field, and you can hear the hits or running. There's not a bad seat in the house.
Beto
right there.
Duran used to do Charger Talk when they had the show last year. He said, "Steve, I know you like football. Before the Chargers go to the new stadium. You should go to a game because you will never see NFL action from that.
You've never seen it?
No.
Oh, dude, we'll see if you weren't such a hater. I'd take you.
The only time I've been in that stadium is when De La Hoya fought Steve Forbes back in 2008.
Oh, wow,
the only time
that's
I've ever been in that
right.
stadium.
He didn't fight in the tennis part?
No, he drew 27,000.
Oh, yeah, well, that's Oscar.
And I remember watching Oscar that night. He looked so slow. I remember turning to my buddy, Ernie Gabion, and I said, Pacquiao can beat him. And Ernie said, really? I said, yeah, I'm just telling you. 49ers, the gold rush is real. I like that team.
That was dramatic. From last year to this year, dude, they look like the real deal. That defense is nasty. I want to trade Bosa brothers.
Bosa's just making that pass rush great again. He is a J.J. Watt impact level player. And Shanahan, look, there's not a lot that you can invent in football, but every once in a while, Shanahan will come up with the play, and I'll be like, I've never seen that before. That guy is creative.
Wow, so Seattle is in that same division, right?
Yeah, and they're 5-1.
Oh, dude, that's a good one right
Play
there.
Monday night in like 4 weeks.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
Rams are teetering on being an also-ran this year. They don't look good because they lost 2 offensive linemen.
Well, Goff, listen, when in the Super Bowl,
Goff is a jag.
I was just going to say that. I was just
like,
a guy. I can't believe they paid him that. They got a badass defense. Larry Donald's badass, but dude,
something's wrong with Gurley. It's not looking good.
Yeah, Mario, quick thing on the NBA. Clipper uniforms. You like the script? Orale.
Yo, well, you know I'm a Laker fan, but I'm going to keep it real. The Clippers uniforms are dope. They're so smart, their marketing team. They're going after all
Old
the
English
right here with the Old English, making it predominantly black and white, And
it's an improvement over the uniforms they switched a couple of years ago. The black ones with the
all they need now is to come out with some Cortez high tops.
Oh yeah!
Oh my gosh!
That'd be dope. They'd be the East Los Clippers. That would be tight.
And by the way, how about my boy Zion Williamson? You know what? Just give him the Rookie of the Year.
He's like Baby Shaq.
Absolutely.
Wow.
I love all these people said, "How can he look the open floor?" More man-to-man defense, quicker tempo. Him and Ball are going to be must-watch TV in the NBA.
How you liking the Lakers, though?
I think they're solid. Look, here's another thing. Anthony Davis is already hurt. AC Green, he's not. The guy does not play a lot. And I don't mean just on the other stuff. I'm talking about his durability.
So that's not going to bode well for a long season.
Right. Mario, I didn't know this. You are now getting into Succession.
Yes. I watched the first season. It took me a few episodes to get
into it.
What'd
you think, though?
Well, no, the first season, I loved it now. And
okay.
I'm about 2 episodes. Yeah, but, dude, at some point, everything is F you, F off, F you, F off, F off. Every other
That's
line, dude.
Logan Roy is great.
Dude, they're all great. And then, what's his name? McCulkin's brother is so skeevy, but you like him.
He's my favorite character, I think.
Roman is,
came on this season.
Yeah.
You know what my favorite character is? I love Doug. Is it Doug?
Yes.
Doug is great.
His sister's husband, yeah.
Yes,
Oh, you
yes.
know, the biggest.
No, I like him too.
How about Connor?
The big goofy guy.
Oh.
No, not Doug. Is that his
Greg.
name?
Greg.
Cousin Greg.
Yes,
Cousin Greg. I love Cousin
great.
Greg. Cousin Greg looks like he's 9 feet tall.
Yes.
Doesn't he?
Yes.
He looks huge. He's like a power forward.
Connor Roy is cringeworthy.
No, but Shiv's husband is great too. By the way, everybody's British in that cast. If you hear,
Really?
Yeah, everybody's British.
By the way,
Macaulay Culkin's brother.
Yeah, except for but Shiv's husband is great, but cousin Greg is great, dude. He's so funny. Wait, you swallowed your own load? What is that? Remember when he said that? Cousin Greg with the one. It's so funny, right? He's
I
so
love that
great. I
show.
love him. He's great though. He's got like great one-liners.
I got a look-alike. Tom, the husband of Shiv, doesn't he look like Peyton Manning a little bit?
Dude,
if
that's
he yelled
cold
out,
as ice,
Omaha,
dude.
Omaha.
No.
He kind of does.
Dude, that's mean, dude.
Thank you. All right.
Call them Peyton, man. That's mean. Yeah, I'd hate you if you call me.
Yeah. One last thing here, Maury. Who had a worse week on Twitter? Ryan Garcia or LeBron James?
Oh, dude.
LeBron. He's way more famous.
It's not a good week for the NBA. All those woke social justice warriors, they all got a lot of morals until it hits
You
the
think
pocket.
they're going to shut up and dribble now? I mean, there's the thing. I feel bad that LeBron is getting the brunt of it, but when you position yourself as this social justice warrior, as an activist, you bring it on. Look, Michael Jordan once said, Republicans buy shoes too. In other words, he said,
I'm Michael Jordan school of thought. Yeah, even your boy, Nichols, Steve Kerr, too.
Not my boy.
Trump
he's a big
tweeting
fan.
him
He's
and
a big
stuff.
fan of his own coach.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, no, it's, listen, they were throwing a lot of shade to the NFL, and the NFL didn't look hypocritical. They kept it the way they thought. And these guys, there's nothing worse than a hypocrite. As far
If
as
you're
I'm
Roger
concerned.
Goodell, the NFL, you're like, okay, guys.
You know what I like about China, though? China, they don't care.
don't.
Really? Okay, we're canceling this.
Yeah,
they don't care.
they
You kind of almost got to respect that.
Took down the banners.
If
Took
you're-
them off
Yeah,
TV.
like, oh, really? And then, like, I kind of respect that, though.
If
China's
you're-
gangster.
if
China
you're-
doesn't need the NBA. So.
If you're Roger Goodell, you flat out tell your owners, we're not ever going to China. We don't need it.
Can't afford to do that. You have to do that, dude. It's too much money. Nike And the money that they're not going to be able to pay those contracts to those players. You need China, but then you got to stop all that other. Can't be talking about our own government and then. You're playing for a fascist one who's stealing people and taking their organs. And all.
I didn't know they actually had concentration camps. Actual ones.
China is cold as ice.
Maury, one last thing. I know you know Ryan Garcia. You do keep in touch with him. What advice would you give him right now? Because I'm watching this back and forth with him and the baby mama, and I'm just like, guys, someone stop this.
Put your phone away. Get off of social media. Focus. You gotta chill.
He actually did delete his Twitter account. Wow. And the other thing I'd say to the baby mama is, look, you may have grievances. Here's the problem. One day your daughter's gonna read that. That's
immaturity, bro.
Immaturity. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll be in Philadelphia this weekend. Next week we'll talk about
cheesesteak there.
Yes, I absolutely will. In fact, I might go to Arby's to get one.
Oh my God.
On behalf
roast beef, fool.
of Mario Lopez, Justin Buffalo Knuckles, this is Steve Kim saying goodbye.